So, Devan, ready to learn how to work miracles?
I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that.
Well, it's less than scraps that we have to deal with here. I saw a few sacks of rice, a bag of potatoes, and a pot of barley. There's also some dried meat and fish on the hooks. And maybe we can do something with those old carrots. They're getting moldy.
That should be enough to make a good meal from, don't you think?
Where I come from, it's a crime to prepare dinner without a single piece of fresh produce.
Where are you from, then?
It's a long story, and I'd rather not tell.
Why not? Did something bad happen?
No? Well, yes, but I'd really rather not talk about it. Oh, right, we need a good hearty base for our stew. Could you find me either a bunch of potatoes or a pound of barley? No rice, please. I really hate rice.
It was a sack of potatoes. Several rolls made by Undra lay untouched on the cutting board. Most likely they were made with the finest grains from capital farms. The few herbs I could find in the galley were often dried and stale. Bruising them with the grinder usually helped to return some of their flavour. Little bits of food were still stuck on the inside of the pan. It seemed like Danielle had been in a rush when he washed the dishes. Fresh produce was rare aboard the Herald, but carrots stay good for quite some time when kept high and dry. Alas, the galley did not provide such conditions.
Potatoes, huh? You have good taste. Hey, Devan, that Protectorate blue, it really looks too good on you. I mean, why does the captain like you so much?
I don't really know. Do you think he does?
Well, obviously, but I have heard about what happened with Ian up on deck. I just never expected the captain to reward you for that.
I didn't expect it either, but I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth.
I'm convinced that it was just a convenience, Devan. The captain must believe that having a steward to preserve some form of etiquette will help keep Morton at bay.
I'm not sure if I feel comfortable in that position.
You got a promotion, that's all that should matter to you. Just play along and everything will be fine. But always remember that the senator is a powerful man, Devan. I heard he's the brother-in-law of Jonathan Vesey, the regent of the eastern colonies. It is in our best interest to keep him happy. Even though I don't really like Protectorate officials, I'd still advise you to stop pushing his buttons. Got it? Now get me some fish or meat for this stew.
It was a cured fish.
The salt smell of cured fish. It will go well with some ground chili peppers. You probably love spicy food, right, Devan?
I'm sorry, but chili peppers are a bit too much for me. Could you please leave them out?
Don't worry about that. There are no chili peppers aboard the HLV Herald. It's a shame, though. They would have made this dish a lot more edible.
I take it that you do like spicy food?
Forget about the spicy food, Devan. Sometimes you suddenly realize that you dearly miss something you left behind. It can be as small as the taste of a tomato salsa prepared with fresh Malagueta peppers. But sometimes it's about other, more significant things.
I think I understand what you're going through. It must be hard to be at sea, always far away from your family.
The peppers grew in my garden, Devan. Every day of summer, a girl I knew would pick the ripe ones at noon, and I would watch her while she did.
Who was she?
Charlize was the property of my father's estate. But there, in that garden, she was free, Devan, singing a song while she picked the Malaguetas one by one. When we were together, I completely forgot why I was there and what she really was. A slave girl, forbidden fruit.
What happened next?
I became reckless. After numerous hot-blooded encounters behind a particularly beautiful pepper plant, I one day dared to brag about my exploits to my friends. When father found out, he said I had besmirched our family name, and worse, that of my fiancée. I felt ashamed. I never dared to face Charlize again.
Why would you brag about something like that? Sounds quite indecent of you.
I loved her, and I wanted all the world to know about it. I was also younger and dumber than I am now. I thought I could get away with anything. When the rumors finally reached the ears of my betrothed, her parents made sure Charlize disappeared. I couldn't do anything to stop them. I was asleep when they stormed the senzala, took Charlize out of her bed, and hanged her from a tree in our garden. I never had a chance to apologize.
I'm so sorry. It must have been terrible for you.
Well, the stew is done. Go serve the crew on the twin deck. I'll be right there.
So, what you cooked up for us tonight, Andra? Another disappointment?
You alone bring enough of that to the table, Caleb. Besides, I wasn't the one cooking tonight.
If you were not cooking, Undra, who was?
Danielle, together with Devan here, made a fine stew for us.
You trust your kitchen to Ransburg?
Galley, Caleb. And yes, I do.
Well, it can't be worse than your tasteless grub now, can it?
Coming from you, I take that as a compliment.
I'm starving. Fill my bowl right up, Devan. It'd better be good.
Fish again. My guess the tater should make it kinda edible.
You should taste it, Bosun. It's quite an exotic mix of things. I like it. Whose recipe is this anyway?
I picked the ingredients, so you could say it is my recipe.
Well, I think you did great for a first time, Devan.
Hey, I made the broth and stirred pot. Don't pretend that's not important.
I knew we were missing someone. What are you sneaking around the deck for all the time?
You were back there? Did you hear any strange sounds? I heard some eerie noises last night from the direction of the cargo hold.
What are you talking about, Rob? The cargo hold is locked while we're at sea. No one can enter till we make port.
But bosun, I've heard it as well.
Ludlow? Where did...
It was just a few nights back. I was walking to my cabin, and suddenly the air around me went icy cold. Then, out of nowhere, comes this ghostly tune, mesmerizing me as I walk across the 'tween deck. Before I know it, darkness creeps over me. The next thing I remember was waking up in the crow's nest.
When I heard it, I could swear there was singing too. We're all doomed, bosun.
Don't go towards the sound when you hear it. It's really dangerous. I've heard terrible stories of sirens trying to lure men into their arms. Before you know it, you're locked in an embrace with a hideous woman with razor-sharp teeth and a pale, dead face.
Well, that's good to know, right, Caleb? Even you might have a chance with this girl.
Bah! I don't need no woman. Women only bring bad luck to sailors like us.
Like us? You and I are not in any way alike, Caleb.
I wasn't talking about you, hash slinger. Since when are you a sailor?
Hold your tongue, snake.
Your
And
mother
here we
didn't
go
teach you to show
again.
some respect to your superiors?
You, my superior? I think not.
I own you, Andra. You and the likes of you are in my pocket.
I warn you, Caleb, don't push me.
I take back what I said.
Why do they always have to fight?
It's because they're both idiots, Devan.
Officer, why are you here anyway? Are you not eating with the captain tonight?
With the senator as his guest, I'm afraid I will have to eat on my own for a while. But now I need to speak with Devan. In private. Good. We're finally alone. So, have you heard anything of interest today? Did any of the passengers bear their secrets to you while they stuffed their faces?
Danielle seems to be a man on the run. He fled his country because he fell in love with a slave girl called Charlize.
Slave girl? He must be from the Catholic kingdoms then. Viceroyalty of New Spain, perhaps.
Slave girl or not, I believe their romance was genuine.
Whatever the case, Danielle is an unwanted guest in the Protectorate. It's better for him if we keep this a secret. Was there more?
Some of the crew really seem to think that the Herald is haunted.
They believe that hogwash now? You are joking, right?
No, I think that because of you, some of the men are actually afraid now.
And they call themselves men? What a joke. Well, it's getting late already, and I have a job for you. The captain is preparing himself for his late-night tea with Senator Morton in the captain's cabin. It's a friendly thing they do every other day. As you are the new steward, the captain has asked you to serve them.
I don't want to do this.
You are the steward, Devan. It is your job. Besides, you are the captain's way of showing how much he values the needs of his passengers. Now, make sure you find some way to stall for time while they discuss important matters. It is vital that they forget your presence so that you may listen long enough to discover what they are talking about. Sounds like a good plan, right?
It's a plan, but I'm not sure about it yet.
Well, You don't really have a choice. They're the captain's orders, after all. Go on then. They're waiting for you in the captain's cabin.
It is good to have you here, Mr. Morton. Now, as per your request, I have appointed one of the crew to the position of steward. I'd like you to meet Mr. Devan Rensburg. Perhaps you have noticed some of his work today?
Yes, I regret that I have.
Mr. Rensburg? Care to explain?
Weren't you pleased with my service today, Mr. Morton? I'm really sorry if I did anything wrong.
I expect a servant to be invisible at all times. Your shameful display of this afternoon made that impossible and resulted in a ghastly meal for my niece and I.
Oh, but Mr. Morton, you shouldn't blame the boy for the cook's bad taste. You know, Mr. Aubertin, he is, well, of somewhat lower birth. His skills, as those of his people, are limited by nature.
I don't know your cook, Cornelius. But a steward like the boy here should be able to do his job while blending in with the background.
I didn't mean to intrude. I sincerely hope you enjoyed yourself nonetheless.
Yes, apology accepted, but I thought I made myself quite clear just now. Blend in.
Right. Rensburg, please fetch us some tea with a soothing splash of brandy. I keep a flask of eau de vie in the cupboard behind the stairs. Darjeeling with a drop of liquor should surely lighten the mood somewhat. My apologies. It really is all very new to him. Now, what is it that you'd like to talk to me about, Lewis?
Nothing in particular. I just wanted to check on you, see if you needed any help or perhaps moral support. I mean, with our dear Mr. Brunswick injured by that crazy cabin boy, you must be quite shocked.
Oh, I am. Thank God Rupert is still alive.
But for how long? Do you know if we can do without his skills?
Rupert has been a dear friend for many years. I know we can't lose him. I can't lose him.
We have a long journey ahead of us, Cornelius, and I am afraid his condition is deteriorating. Will we make it to the colony in time, without his proper guidance?
Well, we're lucky that Rupert left his notes. They were enough to determine our course for the moment. If not for that, we would be hopelessly adrift.
I realized that if I acted busy, they might keep talking as if I weren't there, if I dared to keep them waiting.
Ah, delightful. And don't be sparing with the brandy, Rensburg. Now, get yourself to bed. I expect you to bring me my breakfast in the morning.
The paper stand on the captain's desk was filled with letters stamped with a Protectorate seal. Cornelius Hendricks seemed to be an important man.
Devan! Oh, Devan, thank God you are still awake. Everybody is calling me a fool, but you'll believe me, right?
What are you talking about, Rob? Believe what?
The siren! She's back again. I've heard her song, trying to snare me in the darkness. The she-devil wants my soul.
What did her song sound like?
How do I describe it? It was mesmerizing, really. Eerie sounds of a tinkling song, without words. She's on the tween deck right now. Please take a look for me, Devan. Prove to the others that I'm not lying.